G'day everyone, it's Craig here, and I did it. I finally did it. I've entered into the world of mirrorless cameras. I have bought myself a Nikon Z6, and with Christmas 2020 just around the corner, and as we move into 2021, I'm just going to take you through the reasons why I bought this camera now as we move into 2021. And then also why I didn't pick the Z6 II that has also just been released, and I took the Z6 over the Z6 II. So let's get stuck into it. So my Nikon journey started probably 12 to 15 years ago with my first digital SLR, which was a Nikon D3100, and then I moved into the D7100, which I still to this day absolutely love and adore. It's probably the best crop sensor camera, digital SLR camera that was ever made. I think it was just a massive fan of the D7100. It's a professional grade body for an enthusiast price. From there I moved into the D810 and I loved the Landscape King, but just felt the need to move into something a little bit more hybrid, good video capabilities and also some new technology. So moved into the Z6, and here I am today filming on the Z6 as well. And so the four reasons why I have wanted to get the Z6 and why I did purchase it is just firstly because of the 4K video. The D810 that I was doing all my previous video work on before was 1080p, but the Z6 can do 4K, and the 4K files that come out of the Z6 is, as you can see here, absolutely great. Great clarity, good colors as well. So the 4K video on the Z6 is great. The second reason I got the Z6 is also another video reason, and that's because it can do 120 FPS at 1080p, all uncropped, just like 4K, and it's a real game changer as well if you want to do some nice smooth B-roll. Previously on my D810 and also the D7100, that was limited to 60 FPS, so 120 FPS, as you can see here, really nice and smooth footage, slows down, and this is at 20% of speed, so that's 5 times slower. So really great smooth video capabilities at 120 FPS at 1080p, uncropped to the Z6. Love it, absolutely amazing. And the third feature that I really love about the Z6 is its video autofocus. Now, for those of you who have seen my previous video around what I love and absolutely hate about the D810, one of the things that the D810 is not good at is video autofocus. The constant hunting on pretty well most of the Nikon digital SLRs is not great. I think the new D780 is pretty good, but the previous generations before that is not. And you can see here when I do a side-by-side comparison of the Z6 and then also the D810, you can see how smooth the Z6 is versus the hunting that the D810 does, and it does lose focus and doesn't do a great job of trying to reacquire either. Whereas I found the Z6 in my first couple of weeks of using it just butter smooth. It's been great, and I love that feature of the Z6 having really good video autofocus, and it follows subjects really well. So when you're on autofocus full time with subject tracking around face detect, it hardly ever misses. It does a fantastic job, and I love that feature. And my fourth and final reason why I love the Z6 and the reason why I bought it is its eye detect autofocus. Now the eye detect autofocus is obviously a feature in a lot of other cameras these days as well, especially most of the mirrorless. But for me, moving from a D810 to a mirrorless Z6 has been just amazing, the transition. You know, there's the 3D matrix metering on the D810, which is pretty good as well. but the iDetect autofocus really just helps. It just lets you take more shots, I suppose, with the full viewfinder coverage. The software in it, the firmware is really great, and that was probably one of the main reasons for the Z6 is when 3.0 came out. I really think that really, for me, that changed the game for me. I thought this camera's been transformed and I really want to get it now. And so I've had the Z6 for a couple of weeks and I must say I'm not disappointed. As again, you can see here, when I've done my iDetect autofocus test on my daughter, it pretty well never misses out. Look, I haven't done it a full extensive review, but you can see on the sort of the limited testing that I've done that it's pretty good at picking up the eye and then tracking the face as well. Even when you raise up things in front of the face and then remove them, it's pretty good at reacquiring. So really good. I love that feature part of the new mirrorless range, whether it's Nikon, Sony or Canon, is the iDetect autofocus and pretty well, you know, the full viewfinder coverage for all your focus points. So they're the main 4 reasons I've bought the Z6. I love it so far. And then why did I not get the Z6 II over the Z6? Because yep, the Z6 II will do all of those features as well. Quite simply, it's price. You know, I picked up the Z6 with the 24-70 f4 lens, and then also an f to Z adapter for all my other f-mount lenses. And I picked that all up with an XQD card, cheaper than the Z6 II body. Look, for me, you know, unless you are a full-time working photographer who is just using this camera every day, yep, you go for that. If you are a full-time photographer going for go for a Z6 II. But for me, you know, this is more than enough and will be for 99.9% of you out there. It'll be fine. And I have found this been absolutely great so far in the last couple of weeks. So you'll see me do all my videos pretty well from now on the Z6. I love it. But yeah, so I hope you found that a bit informative and I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.